Over the past couple of months, I've been working on making an Elden Ring build for every class in D&D, and recently I finally finished, so I wanted to see how my builds actually stand out to the game. In the capable hands of a seasoned player like myself, any build should be viable. But these builds were made for lore, aesthetic, and originality, so let's see how well they actually stack up to the game. Today I'll be showcasing my 3 melee classes, starting off with the Barbarian, then the Fighter, and finishing things off with the Rogue. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. My Barbarian build features great axes, and one of the 2 featured armor sets includes the Champion's Pauldron, and it just so happens that the hero starting class has both an axe and the whole champion set. So, spawning into the lands between as the hero class, I decided to take an obligatory shitty attempt at the Grafted Scion. Oh god, my UI is off. I can beat this thing with no UI. I probably can't beat this thing, period, but... How did I miss, exactly? Oh, and... Oh, no, I live? Oh, that's crazy. And... Really? 3 whole hits? Alright, that's the one that takes me out? Okay. Having filled that, it was time to go to Limgrave and begin my early game collection. Just as a heads up, I'll be skipping this segment for the starting portions of the next 2 runs, so assume that any gold runes, smithing stones, golden seeds, or sacred tears are also collected in those runs. Before fighting any bosses, I collect a smithing wand from the Church of La, got married to Melina for Torrent, grabbed the whetstone from underneath the gatefront ruins, a smithing stone one from the bridge with the nightcap, a somber one from the share beyond the bridge, a gold Valfoot on the hill just beyond that, then jumped down and grabbed the primary weapon of this entire run, the Great Axe. From there, I headed south to the Weeping Peninsula where I picked up 3 smithing ones and a stone sword key on the bridge, a gold rune 2 and smithing 2 on the road, the South Golden Seed, the baptismal church tier, had my first death to gravity, got the pilgrimage and 4th church tiers, then headed back to Gatefront where I rode up to Stormhill, collecting a golden seed, another stone sword key, the strength tier, and had my first fight of the run against Bernal. So as fun as it would be to get the Blasphemous Claw later, this guy doesn't give me anything good, or any good like Ashes of War, and I did mention getting those Greaves for my build.
What's wrong with you? Suppose I have no choice then. Is this what grace would have of us?
Get fucking guard counter, idiot. God damn it, I suck at this game. After 10 failed attempts, I finally bested him. I'd use Wild Strikes on him, but I feel like he's just gonna poise through it. Oh, come on, he should just be 1 running heavy. There we go. Alright. With the Beast Champion Greaves and Gauntlets now equipped after way too many failed attempts, I continued east where I picked up 2 smithing ones by the Pumpkinhead, used my first Stone Sword key to pick up the Green Turtle Talisman in Summon Water Village, experienced another death to gravity, collected a number of gold runes from a graveyard, got the Physic and Sacred Tear from 3rd Church, the Axe Talisman from Mistwood, and the Dectus Half and Gold Seed from Fort Height. I then returned to the 3rd Church to take the Warp Gate to Caelid, collecting the Golden Seed and Dragon Barrow, the gold runes by Lens Rise, and the other Dectus Half at Fort Feyroth before heading down to the Church of the Plague for another tier, then even further south to Aeonian Swampbank to grab another seed and the grace for Church of Dragon Communion for later. With all my collections done, I accidentally blew my smithing stones on the wrong weapon, collected the Ground Slime Ash of War to apply the heavy affinity to my Great Axe, used some of my runes to be able to wield the Great Axe, and 57 minutes into the run, I finally fought Margit. Oh, that's actually really good damage. Okay. Oof. Ow. You're kidding. That's bullshit. Yeah, gravity was really fucking with me on this run. Am I heavy rolling? Oh shit. Okay, 230 is pretty good actually. Okay, that still keeps me at medium mode. Okay, get back out of the way. He's gotta be close to a stance break by now, right? Come on. Come on, I know you want a stance break. I know you want to. I know you want to sit down. There you go. Oh, that's good damage. There we go. Easy Margit. With Margit defeated, I was able to head through Stormvale Castle, which was about as eventful as it usually is, picking up a golden seed and getting straight to Godric with no issues. Okay, I see I don't have time now, so I'll have to do it after the second one. Or third and second phase. I love his theme, by the way. Genuinely one of my favorite themes in this whole game. It's like this guy, Godfrey, and Rolana. Genuinely some of the best themes in this game. Alright, second phase. I'd love to see it. Oh, dude, I phased him right before that epic cello solo, too. God damn it. Bad, bad, bad. There's the stance break. There we go. Yeah, he put up more of a fight than he usually does, though. I'll be honest. Let's put a little bit more endurance, so that hopefully I can wear the Yep. Alright. Cool. With Godric now defeated, I was free to access Liurnia to make another significant bout of progress, collecting the Sacred Tear from Church of Irith, buying the smithing stones from the Lakefront Merchant, grabbing a smithing 3 from the gazebo with the Academy Waygate, which I then used, taking a path back to the entrance, grabbing a smithing 3, 3 smithing 2s, and a golden seed. I then traveled east to collect 3 smithing stone 3s from the Poison Flower gazebo and took a Waygate to the west side of Liurnia to get the Grace by Yuji. I then returned to the academy, heading north this time to loot another graveyard, grab 3 smithing 2s from another gazebo, and collect the academy key behind Smaragd. I entered the academy and went to go grab the golden seed to take the sigil to Bellum Highway, where I immediately jumped off a cliff to head down to Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel, where I collected a smattering of smithing stones, as well as defeated the Crystallion for smithing bell-bearing 1. Back up on the surface, I went to Bellum Church for another sacred tier, upgraded my great axe to +3, and finally I arrived at Raya Lucaria for the showdown of Brain versus Brawn. Traversing the academy presented no major challenge, nor did the Red Wolf of Radagon, except for a supposed frame drop, but rewatching the footage, it was not nearly as bad as my reaction.
I'm gonna keep stammering until you find them!
You know what? That was a worthy trade. That was a worthwhile trade-off. I'm okay with that. Not. Oh my god, where did my frames go? Why did I have a frame drop there? Oh my god. There we go. Holy. That frame drop terrified me. I thought I was dead right there. With Red Wolf down, I kicked the shit out of Moongrim and then proceeded to kill enough orphans to make even Technoblade proud. Unfortunately, the director of the orphanage was not happy with this, so she sent me to the shadow dimension and kicked my ass with magic. Turns out brain does beat brawn. Well, I'm gonna ignore that and turn my brain even more off for this next attempt and see what happens. Hell yeah, stance break. Finally. And there we go. Easy. Easy kill. Okay. Yeah, I just needed to truly be barbaric, and more brawn I use, the easier it is to beat brain. After beating Renala, I decided to do a few things in Altus, but it was at this point that a lot of things on the technical end started going to shit, starting with this. What the fuck? I reloaded the game and took the lift up to Altus, where I grabbed a golden seed on the path to the left of the capital outskirts, then took the stairs up to said location where I got 2 more gold seeds and fought a gargoyle for what I thought would be the second weapon of the run, but when I tested it on the Margit projection, it proved to be a massive downgrade. I'll use Gargoyle's Great Axe for this fight. What the fuck? He hit me with a pixel of the hitbox. What the fuck? Switch that to being a red. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, I'm sorry Gargoyle's Great Axe fans. I've been trying this fight for a little while. You guys aren't getting anything. I'm sorry Gargoyle Great Axe fans. I'm not doing it. You know what? Justice for Gargoyle's Great Axe fans. This is it. Never mind. Oh my god. I really wanted to make this work. It looks super cool and I thought it would be fun to use, but unfortunately the numbers just aren't there. And since I have a better option, I'm going with that. After those miserable attempts at Margit, I upgraded my Great Axe to +8. No longer saving my smithing stones for the Gargoyle Axe. I picked up the Smithing Bell Bearing 2 from Altus, then upgraded all the way to +12. Then I made a mistake that proved how directionally challenged I am by going to the Sainted Hero's Grave, mistaking it as the location for the Bloodhound set. Just as a side note, I obviously record these videos across multiple sessions, and sometimes things go wrong. For the next 2 sections, I accidentally sat too close to my mic for 43 minutes without realizing. Then recorded for an hour and a half, making extreme progress, killing Radon, Margit, making it to mountaintops, and killing Commander Niall, all with my mic off. I'm gonna try to get through the next bit as quickly as possible so you don't have to listen to my crunchy microphone. Yeah, the no thoughts head empty strat is, it's working. Or nothing at all. After some wandering around Mount Gelmir and getting lost a little bit, I finally found my way into Gelmir Hero's Grave, and after dying to the chariots and some other things more times than I care to admit, I finally got the Bloodhound set. After that little bit of housekeeping, my weapon was upgraded, my drip was filling out, and I finally decided to progress with more bosses. There's no important collections here other than the Claw Talisman and Spike Tear after killing Godfrey, so enjoy a little montage. Thank you, thank you. I spent 2 hours editing that. I had now cleared out the biggest obstacle towards the second half of mid-game and the late game. I knew that ahead of me was lying another 2 armor pieces I mentioned in my short, as well as some boss fights I was sorely underprepared for. But I ignored that and decided that my next destination would be the Halig tree. But of course, I was still quite a long way off, having neither half of the medallion and not even having gone to mountaintops yet. But with the destination in mind, my path there was clear. I got the Halig tree half from Old Man Albus and headed up to mountaintops, where I took a short pit stop to get the Ronin set. Not gonna lie, it looks a little silly without the Banished Knight helm. I didn't have time to worry about that though, so I put the Champion's Pauldron back on, picked up Smithing Bell Bearing 3, and made my way to Castle Sol to fight Niall for the second half of the medallion. Before beginning the fight, I bought 5 bewitching branches from the merchant by Bellum Highway because I was still quite underleveled and would need to turn Niall's summons against him. With the tools to victory at my disposal, I returned to the castle for the showdown. I only had 2 shots where I could turn both summons against him, so knowing I had to make those runs count, I decided to practice on my own first, cause I am not good at this fight. I want you all to know, this is what 40 minutes of attempts compared to 16 minutes of edited video looks like. But enough of my whining, let's get into my suffering. Yikes. This is gonna have to be another montage, isn't it? I was getting sufficiently walloped for half an hour, but whether through stupidity, impatience, or bravery, I decided to finally use the bewitching branches. I absolutely lost my mind there. I wish I still had my original voiceover because I was screaming throughout this entire ending of the fight. Who knew all I needed was summons to do half the damage for me? I know I just said this, but I really wish I still had that original voiceover because I was just giddy, absolutely ecstatic for this entire bit. After what felt like endless suffering against Niall, I was finally able to pick up the other half of the Halig Tree medallion. I used the secret medallion and headed straight up to Consecrated Snowfield, admittedly getting a little lost on the way. Shit, that guy disabled my map. Free runes? Don't mind if I do. It's not worth the Rotten Duelist fight. Oh my god! What the fuck? What? Eventually, though, I found my way to Ordina, and despite how this usually goes, I actually was able to light all 4 graces without any issue. I just need to not get stabbed. Okay. Sealant Town, teleport me out of here, 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 please. Okay. I teleported to the Haley tree, and it was then that I remembered that the Silver Scarab is actually in the hidden path, not in the dungeon itself. I grabbed the Silver Scarab and decided to finally grind for the Banished Knight Helmet and Duelist Greaves before progressing through the Haley tree for the Traveler's Manchettes. I figured if I was going to be grinding though, I might as well also get the Gold Scarab to get more runes out of it. With both Scarab talismans acquired, I went to the Cathedral of Dragon Communion and started killing. When all was said and done, I had killed 55 Banished Knights, amassed 47,000 runes, gotten 3 greaves, 2 chestplates, a pair of gauntlets, a shield, a sword, and finally the helmet. This is my 3rd in a row. Please. Oh my god! Yes, finally. Yeah, that's what we've been working for. But it wasn't over yet. I still needed the Duelist Greaves. Holy shit. Wait, this guy has so much health. Oh god, am I gonna... Is this gonna be like an actual fight? Or... Please don't tell me this is a chance drop. Oh no. Please. No. Yes! 3rd kill! That wasn't so bad, so back to the Haley tree it was. I was a pretty low level for this, but the only thing I needed to do was survive, kill Loretta, who's my favorite boss and one I don't struggle with, and then survive some more. Aside from that little slip up, I reached Loretta with no issue, and despite my aforementioned low level, I was able to take her out with surprisingly little issue. Nice phase transition, jackass. Nice. This could be it. Easy, Loretta. I spent my winnings to reach level 75, and as I continued heading down the Haley tree, I realized I haven't upgraded my weapon. My weapon is still plus 12. I wouldn't do anything with this information, however, because I completely forgot about it until later on. Instead, I picked up the Ancient Dragon Smithing and Somber Stones and reached the bottom of the Haley tree where I grabbed the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman. It was here that I remembered to upgrade my weapon before I returned and got the Traveler set, completing both of my outfits. I also decided to give Melania a try while I was down here. I'm gonna do bad. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be bad. If it wasn't obvious, I do not know the point-blank waterfowl strat. After that inevitable defeat, I decided to leave Melania as the penultimate fight to see if the strongest strength user truly can beat the average dex build. For now though, it was back to Mountaintops where I picked up the Sacred Tear from First Church of America, as well as the one from Church of Repose where I had a bit of an incident with Okina. Please, I just came here for the tear. I just came here for the tear. I don't want your weapon. I don't want your weapon. I'm maybe the only person in the world who's ever said that, but I don't want your weapon. I just want the Sacred Tear. Doesn't have to be this way. I just... Okay. Okay. After that, though, I sprinted over to Fire Giant to truly reach the endgame. Nice. I do kind of wish I could have saved it for second phase, but oh well. Let's get out of here. Shit. No, I don't want to aim for his face, I want to aim for his hand, damn it! Damn it! I don't really... Oh, no, I want to get far, 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 far away from that. There it is. Oh boy. After beating Fire Giant, I popped some remembrances to level up as much as possible before burning my wife. Goodbye, Melina. I'll miss you. No. No, don't do it, Melina. No. No. Now in the running simulator known as Fara Missoula, I headed straight for the Godskins, on the way learning I am now racist towards Banished Knights. I've had practice killing your kind. Seriously, that kill was disturbingly on sight. I killed out of fucking instinct. But I got to Godskins and decided not to use sleep pots and just rush in like a true barbarian. I'm thinking it would be good to have sleep pots here, but the thing is, I don't have craft pots or the crafting kit, so I'm just gonna say fuck it, we ball. It's phasing already? Crazy. Did I miss that guy somehow? Nice. Oh boy. Damn, we both suck. Damn, we... Okay, never mind. Only I suck. There we go. Okay, perfect. I spent my runes on strength and a bit of endurance so I'd be able to wield Godfrey's great axe after the next couple of boss fights, and continued through the running simulator, dying once at the end of the bird section and making it to the Great Bridge, where I ignored the DTS and ran in to fight Malekith. I should probably mention, Malekith is in my top 5 worst bosses, probably sitting at about 4th worst. U-rank, not so bad. Malekith, however, is horrible. Yes! I was really hoping for a stance break there. I don't count numbers, but... Come on, come on, come on, charge attack! Oh, come on! No, no, no! Come on, come on, come on, this has to be it, this has to be it! It has to be this easy! It is that easy! What the fuck just happened? I've never killed Malekith that quickly. With the capital covered in ash, I moved on to fight Gideon for the real brain vs. brawn showdown.
What a sad state of affairs. I commend your spirit, but alas, none shall take the throne. Queen Marika has our hopes for us, and we continue to struggle unto eternity.
This was horrible. My mic was still crunchy, so I won't make you listen to my reactions, but I was doing this fight late on a school night, and I had not felt this demoralized playing the game since my first time fighting Mesmer. Between the comet spam and the triple ring spam, this fight just felt horrible. Great, I couldn't even see him fucking casting the projectile spam. The 7 quintillion projectile damage. But eventually, my suffering came to an end. No, no, no. Come on. There we go. Finally. Got your bitch ass up, Professor Projectile Spam. After beating the All-Knowing, I tested how much I know by seeing if I remembered the location of Earthshaker, which I mentioned being part of this build. Shockingly, I did, and after equipping it to my axe, I went up to test who the real strongest strength user is. Ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between. It is finally time, the moment we've all been waiting for. It is time to find out who is truly the strongest strength user. What? It's him. This dude is built like manga Jonathan Joestar, but twice as tall. However, I am more determined, and after just a few tries to polish off a week's worth of not playing, I had this run. Alright, this one's the run. This is what, fourth try? Fourth try's the charm, right? That's how the saying goes. What? What? Oh, his leg hit me. Oh, wait, I jumped into the axe. No. I'm supposed to go at him from behind. No. Should I just run it back? Yeah, I'm just gonna run it back. I don't care. I'm so glad that broke his stance. I was taking such a huge risk there and it paid off so well. Oh. Holy shit, wait, I'm so glad I didn't run it back. This could be it. Oh my god. I'm so glad I didn't run it back. I didn't even have the Claw Talisman. That's why I was doing so shit damage. After getting that, I bought the Axe of Godfrey to finally finish off my build and leveled it up to +10 for the upcoming fight. Now, I know I promised Melania would be the penultimate fight, but I still have 3.5 hours left in this recording. 3 hours of which are Melania footage. I will show you my best run, which was also my last. I tried this fight until my spirit broke, but this video has to get out eventually. I can't just keep spending time fighting Melania. Oh, and after about the first hour of attempts, I decided the Great Axe was better for this fight because I'm more familiar with it. How the hell? Great. Love when that happens. Nice. No, 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 no! Get me out of here! Yeah, I can deal with this. No, no, stance break, stance break! No, 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 I can't die here. Ah! Halfway through my Millennia fights, I actually took a break to fight Radagon and the Elden Beast, which took a little while, and I had one really frustrating attempt. Oh god, oh god. You're fucking kidding! But after a handful of tries, I had this run. And I'm still thinking about that last attempt. I don't even know what hit me. I swear to god he like headbutted me or something. Alright, there we go. No! Nice. Alright, as long as I don't do anything aggressively stupid, I think I'm fine. Is this the triple one? No, this is just the single one, I think. Wow, this is crazy. He should be over this way, I think. There we go. No, no, you fuck off. You fuck off with Elden Stars. No, 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 no. I think I'm safe from Elden Stars now, but nope, he's doing the triple. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That was almost so bad. No, 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 get me out, get me out, get me out, get me out. Oh, thank god. Oh god. Shit. Come on. Okay, wait. No, you bitch. Okay. There we go. And there we have it. Now we have proven that my barbarian class is actually a pretty solid one. I'm just really bad at using it against Gideon and Melania, but it brought me resounding success against most of the game's bosses, especially Malekith, who's usually a huge problem for me, but that last attempt against him was so easy. All in all, this was a very fun to play build, and if you want to try it out, I highly recommend it. Maybe try different great axes, different talismans, or a different progression route, whatever you want, but this was so much fun to play, and it has me very much looking forward to doing the next two builds. I should have put on the other outfit. This low-key looks like buns. Before we get into the fight around, I just want to take a second to say that if you're enjoying the video, it would mean so much to me if you could leave a like and maybe consider subscribing. I'm trying to grow my channel, and this is my first ever long-form video, and I've already sunk so much time and effort into this even after just the Barbarian run. If you've watched this far, you've already helped me out a ton, and it only takes a second to like. Now let's get into the run. I start off Vagabond, and of course fail miserably against the Scion as always. Opening up into the lands between, I actually rushed to get to Liurnia very early, grabbing the Academy key and heading up to Bellum Highway for the main weapon I'll be using for a while, the Great Mace. Either while I was in Liurnia the first time, or when I came back earlier before Margit, I also picked up the smithing stones from every gazebo, as well as any gold seeds or sacred tears I mentioned getting earlier. When I would come back here later on in the early game setup, I also started Raya's quest so I could get some early access to Volcano Manor later on. After getting the Great Mace, which I was still way too weak to wield, I headed through Limgrave, Weeping Peninsula, and Caelid, getting every major pickup I mentioned earlier, as well as buying the Champion Headband and Great Helm from the South Merchant. With all those pickups complete, I actually went back to the first step to pick up 2 silver Foulfoots. I used my runes and smithing stones to get my Great Mace all the way to +8. My remaining runes go into strength so I can wield it while two-handing. Then it's back to Gatefront where I pop a silver Foulfoot and farm the soldiers until I get the Great Shield that I'll be using for the early portion of this game, the Lord Sword's Great Shield. I technically could have gone up to Altus already and bought the Cross Tree Shield early, but I thought it would be more fun to give this one a fair chance. After a couple killing cycles, I had the shield and was ready for Margit. Pause. If you haven't seen my shorts on these builds, or just forgot, this is a guard counter build. I have never played a guard counter build. I do not know spacing, I do not know at what point in a combo I should use the counter, I know nothing. In a lot of fights in this run, I do so much worse than I usually do, because I'm almost relearning movesets from scratch. Fake gamer alert over, let's get to the fight. Shit, I ran out of stamina, fuck. Alright, that wasn't so bad. We're kinda still learning guard counters, that actually wasn't that bad. Aside from picking up the Curved Sword Talisman, there isn't much to do here, so I rush straight to Godric. Alright, Godric usually isn't a real boss, but considering I'm still kinda learning guard counters, who knows how this is gonna go. I am ashamed to say that this guy gave me a lot of trouble. I always say Godric isn't a real boss because he's the only one I can pretty much consistently beat on my first try, but whether it was because I was playing this at 1 AM or because I was learning guard counters for the first time, I kind of sucked butt at this fight on this run. You can't guard counter a grab attack, what am I doing? Oh my god. How? How am I struggling against this guy? What? Oh, this fucking asshole. I should just ended it. I had so many chances to end that fight and I just didn't take them. Holy shit. Just do something I can guard counter, dickhead! Let me get my cool finish! That wasn't even a guard counter, I just hit fucking R1, damn it. After killing Godric, I also merged Gostock for another Silver Falfoot before heading to Raya Lucaria for the magic fights. Red Wolf is oftentimes a toss-up for me. Either I do incredibly well, or he kills me over and over and over again. Finally! Yeah, who could have guessed it would be the latter at 1:30 a.m. on a Friday night with a new playstyle? Renella thankfully was a non-issue despite the fact that I accidentally drank my physic against Moongrim instead of waiting for her. Alright, honestly I'm not going to be doing guard counters either way, so... The next part of this video is quite scatterbrained. I don't go into these things with a route or plan, so if I give you whiplash, I'm sorry. With what I consider the early game shard bearers defeated, I rode the lift up to Altus, immediately talking to Raya to go to Volcano Manor in order to unlock the Istvan invasion for my chestplate later. Back in Altus, I bought the Crosstree Shield from the West Merchant, although I was currently too weak to wield it. I did some more basic Altus pickups before deciding to do the Istvan invasion to start getting my armor. Obviously, I didn't have the endurance to wear it yet, so next I went to Caria Manor. Genuinely, I wish I remembered my thought process, but I'm scripting this about a week after I recorded it because I got too sick to do anything. I defeated Loretta, which would make getting to Ronnie easier for her quest later on. Then I went to Kaled for the Strength Talisman so I wouldn't have to always two-hand my weapon without the physic. I decided I needed the Gold Scarab to help meet the crazy level requirements of this build, so I got that, and for some reason also the Smithing Bell Bearing 1 for all the weapons I'd be needing to upgrade later. Even though a lot of that was set up without really a whole lot of payoff, I decided it was now time for Radahn, where I quickly learned that guard counters are not viable. He's so big that when he hits you, you're almost always too far away to hit back, so instead I just two-handed my mace and fought him like I normally do. Alright team, we did it. Oh, and I forgot the gold scarab, damn it. I used some of those runes to get my mace to plus 13 and my shield to plus 9 before beginning the grind for my greaves. This grind was a lot harder than the Banished Knight's Helm because I had to actually fight the knights. But 2 Falfoots, 3 chestplates, 2 swords, and a pair of gauntlets later, I I had my griefs. Now that I had most of my drip, I could present myself to Lady Ronnie. She does not need to know that I heavy roll, she just needs to be impressed by how cool I look. She was impressed by my drips and sent me on a mission to Nokron where I had to kill myself. After that, she sent me to Noxtella where I had to kill Evil Blythe, and let me just tell you, this took way too long. Like, 35 minutes too long. I don't know if I'm bad, guard counters aren't that viable against him, or if I was just fatigued, but god damn was I struggling here. Come on. Oh yeah, you don't fucking say. After that, I really needed an easy win, and thankfully Estelle did not disappoint. Aside from Loretta, this guy was one of my easiest wins, and another fight I didn't get to use much guard countering in. I'm not sure how you dodged that other than being far away. Okay, so you can get it charged in the crit. Are you kidding? Okay, there we go. After killing Estelle, I got the Dark Moon Ring and used it to propose to Ronnie, granting me my second wife of the run, and more importantly, allowing me to fight and kill the real Blythe for his gauntlets. This, of course, took another 15 minutes because I learned nothing against the Baleful Shadow, but when it was done, I had my last piece of the armor, and now all I needed was more endurance. I decided to make some more easy progress by completing Vare's quest to get access to Moog for later. Now though, it was time for DTS, who I killed with little difficulty to gain passage into Lanedale. Perfect. That's the kill that I've been looking for. Another first try win, this time against Goldfree, had me getting more confident in this run and my abilities with guard counter. The Margit projection outside Lanedale furthered that confidence when I killed him first try for the +1 Viridian Amber Talisman, a much needed stamina buff for this build. The true Morgott, however, would be the one to extinguish my flame. It took me nearly 45 minutes to kill this bastard, and by the time I did, this run was already as long as the Barbarian run without including Melania. No. Come on. But, as all bosses do, Morgott did eventually fall, allowing me to get enough endurance to finally wear my full armor set. I climbed up to the mountaintops, went back down, picked up the Purifying Crystal Tear, Great Shield Talisman for better guarding, and the Smithing Bell Bearing 3 to get my Great Mace to +18. I got the Iron Webblade from Stormveil and applied the Determination Ash of War with heavy affinity to my Great Mace, and finally took on Moog. Even with all of these new buffs, I could not take him down. Moog ranks a strong 5th place in my top 5 worst bosses and is the only base game boss on that list. I hate this fight, so I will come back to it later. Instead, I returned to the mountaintops to fight the Fire Giant. It was at this point that my mic stopped working for some reason, but I didn't realize that until I was on Malekith, using the next build. Fortunately, there won't be any live commentary again until near the end of the video, but anyways, here's Fire Giant. I had some good runs, I had some bad runs, but eventually I had the last run. Then, of course, set my side chick on fire because I'm only loyal to Ronnie. The Godskins gave me trouble. But as expected, I did eventually beat them, getting me the 4th Smithing Stone Bell Bearing and allowing me into the second half of Fara Missoula, where I got the Dragon Tower Shield. I got my Great Mace to plus 21, and my Dragon Tower Shield to plus 12, and decided it was time for the Lord of Blood to fall. I entered the DLC and wasted no time getting the Black Steel Great Hammer and taking the back entrance to Skydo Altus to set myself up for the Black Knight Garrow fight later on. For now though, I got my new weapon to plus 25 and went to fight Malekith. First try was pretty good. This new weapon might be kinda goated. Okay, second try Malekith. This is definitely a great weapon. Lanedale is now Ash, which means it's time to play Who Will Suffer? Everyone's favorite game show where we get to find out which Lord contender will be the one getting their ass beat. Will it be the champion fighter, a tarnished of no renown who has proven herself again and again, or the all-knowing Gideon Ofnir, who has sat on his lazy ass reading books and shit like a nerd? Let's spin that wheel! And there you have it, folks. That's all for today's episode of Who Will Suffer? Alright, I've got 2 fights left. I want my shield. Great, let's level this thing up to plus 24 and have the greatest showdown ever against Godfrey. Okay, so champion versus champion is pretty balanced, but champion versus barbarian has me getting my ass beat. Let's try that again. Wow, turns out I'm just buns, period. After about 10 tries, I did finally kill the barbarian in what was perhaps the most epic duel of all time. From a cinematic perspective, this is probably my favorite fight in the entire game. It just feels so cool and balanced. Anyways, it's Radabeast time. Jesus Christ, that went way better than I expected. As Ronnie begins the Age of the Stars, I'd like to give my closing thoughts on this build. This build is a hell of a lot of fun. Learning guard counters for the very first time was an awesome new way to play the game, and one I thoroughly enjoyed even if it was pretty frustrating at times. The level investment is kind of the biggest downside, but honestly getting the gold scarab around mid-game pretty much offsets any annoyance that comes with it. The level investment slows down the early game for sure, but the mid-game and late game aren't really that bad. It definitely is a much less brain-dead take on your standard strength build, and while it isn't amazing against big bosses like Radon or Fire Giant, or magic bosses like Renala or Gideon, that doesn't take away from just how fun this build and playstyle is. Let's wrap up this video with a build that specializes in skill, but I anticipate it will be the best of the three. Let's get the rogue started with the bandit class. As always, I get my shit rocked by the Scion, do basic pickups of gold seeds, sacred tears, smithing stones, and key items in Limgrave, Weeping, Caelid, and Liurnia, and go to Altus early for even more gold seeds and to run to Mount Gelmir for the Scavenger's Curve sword, which I'll be using until the late game. I used the runes and stones I collected to get the sword to +8 and myself to level 22. I went to Patchett's for Margit's Shackle because the shackles feel fitting for this build and because I need to do Yura's quest, which I completed in Raya Lucaria for the Raptor of the Mist's Ash of War, which I put on my sword with a keen affinity. I put the Dex Knot and green spilled tears in my physic and finally fought Margit. With my newfound second talisman pouch, I went to Stillwater Cave and fought the Cleanrot Knight. This fight granted me one of the best buffs for a multi-hit dex build, and with it I kicked Godric's ass. Not a real boss. You know who is a real boss? Red Wolf. This guy still wasn't as bad as he has been, but he was still pretty annoying. I think having more openings than usual was definitely helpful, which will come to be a common theme in this run. Renala time! I said Renala time! Okay, now I want a third talisman. Let's cheese Niall, do the first couple steps of Millicent's quest, and then summon her to fight Godskin Apostle. I then did unspeakable things in order to get the second, extremely important talisman for this build. With that talisman equipped, it was time to beat up the ghost horse so I could start Ronnie's quest line to get the armor pieces I needed for this build. Of course, the next step to getting the armor was fighting Radahn. Sitting at a staggering 8 attempts, this was one of the hardest bosses for this build, even though in the end he wasn't really that bad. With that, it's time for knockground again. The Mimic tier fight was actually a tiny bit of a challenge and certainly interesting with 2 Bleed Raptor users. But Mimic is never bad, and I got the Fingerslayer Blade, causing Ronnie to kill Celevis and allowing me to harvest his drip. To test the drip buff, I fought DTS. No, the drip buff can't be that strong, can it? Surely it's just a fluke. Let's fight Goldfrey. Yeah, no, it was a fluke. And I was wrong about Radahn. Goldfrey was much worse for this build. After he died, I went down to the sewers and got Mohg's Shackle, but after a couple tries to get the Lord of Blood's talisman and not getting a single hit in, I decided to come back later for the crazy buff. Morgott was next, and this fight went frighteningly well. I followed it up with a quick Varai quest, and Moog took a damn long time, but I could not be more happy with how it ended. This was probably the best Moog fight I've ever had. Nearly no hit. I'm not even gonna edit it down, this fight was just that good. Going into the DLC, I took the path to get to the Hornset invasion early, taking the Spirit Spring to Fort Reprimand and the Morth Ruins path to Churchtown, which I used to enter the Shadow Keep to skip the Golden Hippo. Letta and I kicked Hornset's ass by backing him into a corner, and when Letta finally shut the hell up, I had one of the best multi-hit bleed weapons ever, the Falks. After getting it to plus 10, I tested it out on our old friend Esger, and it made quick work of him. I wanted the Thorny Crack tier for even more multi-hit damage, so I took the Falks to Castle Sol to take revenge on Niall for what he did to the Barbarian. With Vengeance now mine, I got one medallion half, got the other from Albus, and went to the consecrated snowfield to fight the Putrid Avatar. It wasn't much of a fight, he kinda just spammed his easiest to dodge move while I trimmed all his branches. But it gave me the final piece of the multi-hit set for free, so I can't really complain. With 3 multi-hit buffs in my pocket, I took on Fire Giant, and this might have been the easiest Fire Giant fight of my entire life. Still a bit annoying with him moving so much and occasionally stepping over Revenger's blade, but it was still incredibly satisfying to watch his health go down. That crit not finishing him off is kind of BS though, but still, it was satisfying. I celebrated with some Melina fireworks and moved on to Fara Missoula. When the Godskins were constantly next to each other at the start of the fight, it was pretty tricky, but once I had taken down the Apostle, the rest of the fight went really well. Yes, Sleep Pots would have been very fitting and thematically appropriate, but with the Fox's showcase against Fire Giant, I was confident I wouldn't need them. Malekith gave me some issues. Beast Clergyman doesn't like the Revenger's Blade follow-up, and Malekith just doesn't like the entire Ash of War. So unfortunately, the broken weapon isn't as good in this fight, but it doesn't really matter with how good the weapon is on its own. Is what I saw. But after Malekith killed me way more times than I bothered to count, I finally decided to get the backhand blade and level it to plus 24. It took some getting used to understand the movement with Blind Spot, but after a few attempts, I started to really understand it, and it carried me to victory. Finally! Oh my god, finally! Holy shit! Fuck! Finally! Oh my god. After getting my butt handed to me for about 40 minutes, I was looking forward to Gideon. Alright, despite the piss-poor showcase against Malekith, I'm actually super confident that I'm gonna destroy Sir Gideon.
For the Elden Ring. It's a sad state of affairs. I commend your spirit, but alas, she'll take the throne. Queen Marika has high hopes for us, and we continue to struggle unto eternity.
Easy peasy. A little bit more of a fight than I expected, but no problem. Not a problem at all. I had no idea how Godfrey would go, but I was pretty optimistic that the Fox would make quick work of him. Godfrey isn't the issue here. As usual, it's Horaloo. Even though I attack fast and have a really quick moveset, it's just hard to get attacks in on him. We just did the same fucking motion at each other. Holy shit, that was so funny. God damn it, you son of a bitch. Fucking chain grabbed, you asshole. The difficulty hasn't stopped me yet, and it certainly didn't here either. Nice. Don't get greedy, don't get greedy. And boom. Now only Ratterby stood in my way. As I entered, I had second thoughts about using the Falk since a big part of its appeal is bleed, and neither of the last two bosses can bleed. Well, yeah, I probably should be using Backhand Blade, because main thing here is bleed, and Radagon doesn't bleed. But the several stacks of multi-hit buffs proved it was not necessary. Oh god, fuck. Already bad start. Already a great start. I didn't even process that I stance broken. Holy shit. Get fucked. Bro, I hope Elden Beast is that easy, goddamn. Is that... Yo, what? My Elden Ring here? Surely because now though, right? We should come up right over here somewhere, actually. Right, he's doing the triple ring. There we go. Easy peasy Elden Beast. Did I even have to heal? Did I even get hit? I'm pretty sure I got it. I mean, obviously by Elden Stars, but like, other than that, I don't know if I did. This build required the use of my brain more so than any other, but that's probably what made it the most fun. I never tried the Raptor of the Mist Ash of War, and while it wasn't super busted or anything, it is a lot of fun to use, just sometimes a little tricky to time it right. Multi-hit builds are pretty overpowered, as are bleeds, so unsurprisingly, this was the easiest build, but that doesn't take away from the fun at all. It was pretty satisfying tearing apart bosses who had given me trouble early on, Godskins and Fire Giant especially. The backhand blade is definitely something I want to use again because I had so much fun using it against Malekith, and it didn't really get enough time to shine in this run. These D&D builds were so much fun to play and to design, even though that part of the process happened months ago. Being creative about how to apply the stereotypes or actual playstyle of these classes to a D&D build, not only in terms of fashion, but in terms of weapons and how a fight is approached, is something that really brings out another side of the game, and I think these thematic builds are some of the most fun I've had with the game on my own, even with my over 700 hours and dozens of playthroughs. As always, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know which of the D&D classes you're most excited to see the next run for. I hope to get at least one, maybe two long-form videos out before my summer is over, and hopefully I'll have the time to start making shorts again. Thank you all so much for watching.